Welcome back, everyone, to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host, Lex, coming to you straight from the heart, where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. We're excited and happy, as always, to have you back on here with us, because here, serving a slice of everyday life is what RDDC is all about. For any show requests or feedback, anything under the sun that you want to say or have shouted out or just express, get a hold of us at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's YANDEX.com, and as well as check out our blogspot transitioningintoa.com at realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. Wonderful insights, multiple pages of just goodness, and a lot of things you can check out at all the time on there, and as well as the links featured in the About Me section with our book links, disclaimers, copyrights, and just, some flavors in there. Find most of those links at the .blogspot, but as well as TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. You can also find our links on some of the uploads we do up there, if not all uploads that we do, a lot on that RSS feed. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Also, sign up for the free vacation giveaways and gift cards, and as well as a YouTube channel, RDDC Spiritual Wealth, or Spiritual Wealth by RDDC, and as well as getting a hold of these hashtag challenges to be rewarded for how awesomely amazing you are. So, once again, I know it was a whole bunch to hear, but you can, fast forward, rewind. That's the beauty about these recordings. And right now we're live and direct always, and this is hashtag settled standards. Yes. This right here needed to be addressed, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with me once we get into this a little bit more. I know lately, different ones at RDC families will be, Lex, we want longer segments, or can I take to go segments to where you can do 10 to 15 minutes so I can kind of listen to it on my commute to work, or when I'm doing something quick, or, cleaning, and some want 45 minutes or so forth. And we're going to have those also available to you. And you could always just also pause where you're at, or maybe just kind of cut them into segments if you want, for the ones that are longer out there. But we hear you, and we are going to be making that more available. We had our wonderful RDC family in Khadijah Matthews from Wyoming. I believe I'm saying everything right there. And she had a beautiful question. I know there's multitudes of questions coming out, and we're going to get all those answered. But this right here, it's called hashtag settled standards for a reason. And if we look at it for a moment, no matter how long this may go or how short, what are you settling for? What are we settling for? I mean, settled standards means what, and also you can look at it as the standards that we uphold. When we settle for things, that is our standard. Now look at it, for example. Go to a nice restaurant. You sit there and you relax. You order something really nice. You know the bill's going to be at least $75 to $100 some odd dollars, or whatever it might be. Even if you're going to a restaurant and the bill's going to be $3.50, it doesn't matter. The whole point is for the experience, and for the fact that you came and showed up and you're willing to pay a wage for it. And all of a sudden, you see some hair in your food. Now you try to avoid it. I know your stomach's turning at this point, whatever. And you're thinking to yourself, it's okay. I'll let it go. All right. Now all of a sudden you go and you go grow. We're just going to go down the line of this. You go to the store and you try to get some stuff, and you see somebody that is not treating someone correctly, or being treated a certain way, and you could step in and say, hey, that's not right. Please don't speak to them that way. Whether it be a boss yelling at his employee or whatever it might be. And you say, it's okay. I'll just, that's none of my business. You go, you pick out some wonderful vegetables, within at the end of the bin, you realize they're full of worms. And you say, well, they're discounted. I'll just leave it alone. You go in the line to go check out from that same store, and 4 or 5 people keep cutting in front of you. And you say, I could say something, but it's whatever. I'll just let whatever happen. You go, and the same thing happens when you're driving once you leave the store. Cars cut in front of you, could just scream you while they're driving, but you just, okay. You go home, If you have children, let's say, for example, you do in this case, and they say, hey, I don't want to take out the trash, you do it. Okay, you're right, I'll do it. And all of a sudden you call your significant other and they're with someone else in the background having a good time. It doesn't seem like they should be with that person. And you say, okay, I'm not going to argue with him. Maybe it was just a fluke. Knowing your gut instinct told you otherwise. So what I'm getting to here in this long little stimulation of basically the ripple effect and so much more, get it how you live it, that should be a segment too, is standards. You settled for that. Okay, we're settling for that. And it doesn't mean we have to be all, oh, well, I want this way and I want that way. It's nothing to do with being bougie or posh. It's the point of what are you going to settle for? If you fall down for everything, you'll never stand up for anything. Okay? And that's the whole thing. I look at it like if you don't speak up for someone who needs someone to be spoken up for, you're settling to be some mediocre, average schmuck. To not stand up for what's right. Okay, and obviously it's different if you're in a controlled, or at least semi-controlled, more safer environment, instead of just walking up to some random person in the alley punching someone. You don't know if you're going to get shot. So disclaimer on that: use commonality, common sense, and not go into a horrible, dangerous situation. If you look at a bunch of vegetables sitting in a bin and there's worms at the bottom and no one's noticing, and you see people who have grabbed these items and bringing them in a cart and they're going to go home and cook for their children or themselves or their family, whatever, you don't say anything and you're the one who's speaking up to say it and preventing something, you are settling and you have low decline standards. 4 or 5 people knock you out the way and stand in front of you. Maybe it is that kind of day where you're saying that, but if you always settle for everything that comes your way, what are you not leaving room for that is the greatest of things to come your way? Our way. Your, knock off the Y, O-U-R, our. So, what are we settling for? Are we settling for a relationship where we're just, basically it's still a bad choice. If you're going to go in a relationship and that person is wholeheartedly committed to you, and that's just the way they are, and you can't stand the way that they are, but you settle for it, you're harming them as well. Because they're under the impression that you were okay with who they were to begin with. And they're leaning their feelings into you, and all the while you're uncomfortable. So when we have settled standards, it doesn't do anyone any good or any justice, because it's almost like you're living, and we're living, some kind of a nightmare. And it doesn't settle well with you. When you're at a place of employment, even though you're paying the bills and you're doing what you do, and you know there's other positions that are waiting for your expertise or your enlightenment or your happiness, and you're not applying for it, but you're steady sitting there at the same place, not giving anything above your standards, because you've lowered them so much you figure you might as well blend in with the crowd of feeling settled. You're doing an injustice for both parties. One, for the place that you're with that thinks that you want to be there because you're employed there, whether they pay bills or not, you're still there. And 2, because you're cheating ourselves, or we're cheating ourselves out of where we should be and could be. Unless you have a clear, direct focus and you're giving that place all you've got, at least for the better part of it, and your mind is staying uplifted and elevated and you're enhancing the environment, then yeah, you're settled. You're not settled in your standards like that. But I look at it for the whole purpose of saying, what have you been settling for? Have you wanted to get your sights on something that would help you get back and forth from A, B, C, and D a lot better, but you've been holding it back because you feel like you're not worthy enough? Now, some of these things are called imposter syndrome. I know they apply for different reasons, but it still does the same thing here. And we're going to get into that in a whole different level, but it still can resonate a little bit with what's going on. Hashtag settled standards. And the whole understanding of that is we don't have to settle for anything, and we don't have to lower our standards for anything and everything that comes our way. So what are we saying about ourselves and our belief systems when we settle and when we go to the standards of which we promise ourselves we never hold? Now, I have a few snippets that come from one of my favorite people in all the realms. And I remember when hashtag Mr. J. Shetty was saying, do not allow your loneliness to lower your standards. Read that again. That all comes into being bound together. Whether you're lonely, whether you're feeling sad, miserable, depressed, whatever it might be. Even sometimes when you're happy, you'll lower your standards. Well, I'm excited. I'm in this moment. Everything's going the way I want it to be. It's okay. You can do 20 things to me. I'm still excited. Now, I guess if that works in your favor, but do not allow ourselves to lower our standards, because that's exactly what we'll get. And the whole understanding is, as he was saying, please keep looking, not for a person, but for your passion, your love, your courage, your goals, your dreams, your happiness, yourself. Keep looking. Explore yourself before you explore another. Know your worth. Know yourself. Only then will you know what you need over what you want. You need yourself to become your own. Now, how deep down does that get? I mean, really, how deep down can you feel that? Can you really feel it? You can rise up from anything. You can completely recreate yourself. Nothing is permanent. You're not stuck. You have choices. You can think new thoughts. You can learn something new. You can create new habits. All that matters is that you decide today to never look back and never settle your standards. And never settle for your standards, or your standards settle for you. What's meant to be ours is already making its way to us. What was never ours is starting to flee from us. With time, it will all make sense. For now, we got to bear the confusion and focus on living fully in the present. And don't let our whole life be, I'll be happy when, ... Because we all need to understand the true understanding of embracement of happiness now. That's what it comes down to. And hashtag Jay Shetty, we love you. I'm sorry, but I know he's married and she looks like a wonderful, beautiful person. But, spiritually, that is my brother from another mother. But I'm just saying, my good brother. But I'm just saying, ultimately, please don't ever settle. And don't ever look at it like, well, it's not the point. I'm not saying the purpose of you saying like, my next door neighbor or my person I know has a Ferrari. So what is Lex saying? I can't be okay with I want a Honda, but what I'm saying, like a nice little Accord, whatever kind of car. I don't even know the names of them. I just know what they look like. But I'm okay with that car. I'm okay. Have I settled? I'm not saying that living as what you call your best life, if whatever you have is your best life and you're content with it, you feel okay with it, you feel good, not just okay, you feel good, not just as you knew you could have did better, but you're okay with what you got. That's what I mean. It's not the purpose of materials or what's in your bank account. It's not the purpose of did you eat sushi last night or some $700 meal versus you just had a $10 pizza. It's not the purpose of that. It's what your inner being is calling out to be and saying. Is what you'll stand up for. Is what you believe in. Is what you know your purpose is calling you out for. If you know, no matter what situation you're in, that something is urging and calling you for a stronger intuition, a stronger momentum, a stronger being of level, then you settle where you are for the moment at least. Doesn't mean forever. It just means that there's something calling you beyond it. Or maybe you didn't even know you settled. You're just sitting there. But at the same time, standards come in there too. Because if you believe that you're not as worthy or good as the next person or next object, then obviously you've lowered your standards. If you believe that you shouldn't be in an abusive or damaging relationship, vice versa, you lower your standards. If you're not taking good care of yourself the way you know you should, but you're taking care of others more than yourself, depending on the circumstances, surely, no matter who you're taking care of, you should always take care of yourself. Otherwise, you can't take care of it or them. You've lowered your standards. So level that up and don't settle. Don't settle for anything that's mediocre, because obviously you're a billion times more than that will ever be. I don't believe that the word mediocre actually really exists when it comes down to any spiritual being out here in this universe. I mean, if they have allowed themselves to be settled in it, that's fine. But we're extraordinary. We're magnificent. We all have a superpower of our own. And there's multitudes of us. If only we would work in harmony. So this is your host Lex. Check us out. Always contact us at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com, yandex.com, and as well as check out the Real Double Dose channel.blogspot.com. Remember to be the change, feel the passion, and embrace the power of that wonderful spirit. Hashtag settled standards. Don't be any of them. And stay wonderful, stay blessed. Keep tuning in and look out for that YouTube coming out. Yeah, we got some surprises for you. We love you. Stay blessed, and we'll be back with you soon.